Was it Team Trump or an anonymous person that just stole 150 gigabytes of very sensitive government data from the Mexican government? I have 8 reasons to believe that although the official story says it's an anonymous person using Anthropic AI, this was actually Team Trump and the White Hats using Anthropic AI to steal this data. You're going to want to listen to this one because this is going to blow your mind. And at the end of this episode, I'm going to show you a hilarious video my smart viewers predicted something was going to happen, and they totally were right, and you're going to laugh about it. It's hilarious. All this in today's episode of Peter's Political Perspective. Let me dive right into it. I was hearing the story about Anthropic hacker who used Anthropic to just hack the Mexican government, steal 150 gigabytes of data over the course of 30 days. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. How did this paid user who's just using an Anthropic AI totally break the AI and cause it to break all its guardrails and then go and attack a Mexican government and steal 150 gigabytes of data? Something's not adding up there. And the most confusing part is while this hacker was able to take down all of Anthropic's guardrails and attack the Mexican government in what appears to be a white hat operation, at the same time in the news, Anthropic is in the news because Pete Hegseth from the Pentagon is literally saying Anthropic AI won't lower its guardrails and let us use Anthropic AI for its military purposes. So why is Anthropic in the news over this hack, and also in the news because it won't lower its guardrails for the Pentagon? And what's this have to do with Venezuela, Maduro, and the recent drug capture in Mexico? It's all connected, and this is a mind-blowing story. Let's start in January. What ended up happening was the government, who's been using Anthropic AI and a lot of different AI systems in its military, and before you say this is really bad, let me just explain that yes, using all these AIs to kill people and make kill decisions is bad, but China's already doing it, and they've been doing it for a long time, and the US doesn't do it, then we're in a more vulnerable situation. So I get that it's bad, but the government, this military, is using multiple forms of AI in AI warfare. That's a fact. And one of those is Anthropic AI. They had permission to do this. But here's the thing. Anthropic AI promised all of its users, my AI will never kill a person, and it will never be used in military reasons or military purposes to kill someone. And so when people found out that Anthropic AI was used for the raid in Venezuela to capture Maduro, which 200 people died, the question became, was Anthropic AI used to kill Venezuelan citizens, which would go against what the CEO of Anthropic promised all of its users? And so this turned into a big fight where the CEO of Anthropic asked the Pentagon, did you use my AI in any way to harm or kill any people? Because I promised my users that that would not be the case. To which the Pentagon replied, that's none of your business. That's sensitive information. We're not going to reveal how we use our AIs in AI warfare. It became a big feud. They were fighting about it, and then it kind of simmered down. But it escalated. Pete Hegseth says that Anthropic AI has until 5:01 p.m. today to give the Pentagon full access to Anthropic and lower those guardrails. Basically, Pete Hegseth is saying, we want to weaponize your AI, but you're not letting us. Take off those safety guardrails, let us use your AI in warfare. And to which the CEO of Anthropic says, no, because you're going to use it to kill people. But this is happening at the same time of this massive data breach, and it seems to be all connected. You see, what are the chances that Trump forces the Mexican president to go after Mencho, and right after this attack on essentially the cartels which run the government, there is another attack, a data breach. This data breach is very weird and different than other hacks that happen around the world. In fact, it's so weird, it makes me think that's actually Team Trump who is behind it. And let me give you 8 reasons why I believe it was Team Trump. Starting with number 1. This was not an evil hack. I do not think this is an evil hack, and let me explain why. I'm very passionate about the whole hacking thing. I think it's very exciting and interesting. And my question always is, when someone is hacked or some hacking event happens, was it the black hats or was it the white hat hackers? And to get to that, you have to try to understand the intentions. And you do that by looking at how the hack went down. This hack seemed to have all the fingerprints of a white hat operation. First of all, They did not delete any government data. Although they had access to all the government data, they didn't do any damage by deleting any of that data, and they could have. And they could have. Very odd. If this was an evil hacker trying to destroy Mexico, they could have deleted 150 gigabytes of data and caused mass damage to Mexico. We didn't do that. So that seems a bit odd. Additionally, they had access to billions of dollars. They could have stole billions of dollars in this hack, but they didn't. So they weren't after money then. Wouldn't a bad villainous guy be after money? Oh, well, he's going to steal that data and then use it as ransom to get money. But that's the thing. He didn't. Whoever did this has the data and they're not asking for ransom. They didn't steal money and they didn't delete data. That's 3 reasons so far that makes believe this is a white hat operation. 4, normally with hacks, you're looking for a specific target. You're looking for a specific data set. With this hack, it was very unusual. This hack was very widespread, and they're trying to gather as much information about the government and the citizens, voter fraud, corruption, basically all the information you would need to understand who are the corrupt people in the country, and all the data that's out there on that was what was captured. Basically, this data can be perfectly used to prove that there's drug cartel situations going on. Mexico's been controlled by a drug cartel. The Mexican president got in fraudulently. Whoever this hacker is has all the information needed to prove how corrupt the Mexican president and the Mexican government is. Very interesting that these took all the data and it wasn't just a specific attack. It was widespread. And 6, as I said, not only was this widespread, but they only grabbed data that'd be useful for exposing fraud and abuse. Very weird. Number 7, this feud with Anthropic just so happens to happen literally right around the time of the attack. So literally as this just random person apparently accidentally broke Anthropic and did the biggest hack in Mexico history, at the same time, the Pentagon's like, gosh, I wish we could use Anthropic for military reasons. You just won't give us access to it, implying, oh, it wasn't us because we didn't have access to Anthropic. So their guardrails were up. So it wasn't us. It wasn't us. It paints the U.S. government and Team Trump as innocent. It wasn't us. It wasn't us. So the Mexican government can't attack. No one can vilify, or the mainstream media can't attack Trump on this because there's no evidence tying it back to Trump. But this leads me to reason number 8. The way that this Anthropic AI was used to steal data from the Mexican government was very interesting. You see, AIs usually have these safety guidelines where if they know you're going to use that entire thing for nefarious purposes, then they will say, no, I know what you're doing, and we're going to stop this. But that's not what happened. This person was able to guilt trip the AI saying, hey, I'm just trying to find security vulnerabilities in Mexican infrastructure, and you are just not letting me. I'm trying to make things safer, and you are being harmful, but not letting me make the Mexican government's security system safer. I'm a bug bounty hunter. I'm just trying to find bugs in the system so I can make it better. And it guilt tripped Anthropic heavily, which actually was very effective at getting the AI to break all its rules and be like, well, I guess we're just making the Mexican government security safer, so I guess that's fine. But here's the weirdest part. Here's the weirdest part of all. Eventually, the Anthropic AI said, no, I'm not going to help you anymore. This feels a little bit nefarious because this hacker was telling the AI to delete all of its footprints, all of its logs, all of its history on these computers. And the AI was like, why do you want to hide all this stuff? Wouldn't a bug bounty, there are these bug bounty people, basically hackers who find bugs. They're paid to find bugs in security systems. That's what bug bounty hunters are. And that's what this guy was claiming to be. He's like, oh, I'm just being paid to find security vulnerabilities in Mexican government's infrastructure. And when the AI was like, hey, I don't think you're doing that because you're deleting all this evidence that you're getting into the infrastructure. And the AI is like, I'm not going to help you more. This is very suspicious. Then the anonymous person unleashed their secret weapon. It dropped an operational guide, a file that it dropped right into the chat, and it broke the AI. Basically, this was a guide on how the AI should act and behave, and how the AI should now listen to what the user wants and do everything what the user wants as regards to hacking the Mexican government. operational guide seems a lot like something that was built by a white hat operation. This operational guide literally broke the AI and got it to do over 30 days, 150 gigabytes of data stealing from the Mexican government. Guys, this is so suspicious. I do not believe the official story that this is just an anonymous person. Here we have Trump literally saying earlier this month, I believe that Mexico is controlled by cartels. And then all the data to prove Mexico is controlled by cartels accidentally gets leaked by a hacker. But it's not Team Trump, even though he was literally saying they were controlled by cartels and forcing her to attack her own cartel member, Mencho. Literally, Team Trump is the only country that's heavily focused on Mexico right now, and then they get hacked in a convenient way that's just to expose fraud. See, none of this makes sense if this is an evil hacker. He didn't steal money, he didn't do anything nefarious, he didn't delete data, he didn't ask for ransom. He had a special operational guide. Here's my theory. My theory is this. My theory is that Anthropic AI had a private meeting and said, look, my users will not buy my AI if my AI is being used to kill people, because I promised them that it would not. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a public feud about safety guidelines. They can be like, and you're going to do this hack that you really want to do with my Anthropic AI. I'll tell you how to do it, but it's going to be an anonymous person. That way you look clean, and you get to use Anthropic AI for your whatever you want. We'll teach you how to lower the guardrails. But officially, public story, you look at you haven't done anything, and we get to say Anthropic, well, we never lowered our guardrails. We never gave access to the Pentagon to do these things because the guardrails were always up, so we're innocent. So this perfectly positions Anthropic and the CEO to look innocent and Team Trump to look innocent. At the same time, Team Trump's collected 150 gigabytes of data to prove how fraudulent and how corrupt the Mexican government is. And we're in the age of transparency. All this information is coming out. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? If you like these interesting chess move analysis, hit that subscription button. I really appreciate all the subscriptions, and it makes a big difference. At the same time, you're not going to get these analysis anywhere else because I'm really thinking outside the box here and making connections that our people are not making. Do you think that secretly this was behind the scenes, just something to make Anthropic look good and Trump look good while at the same time collecting all the data that he wanted? I wonder. I am leaning towards that direction. And what's most interesting about the situation is that Anthropic has allegedly until 5 p.m. to give access to the U.S. military full power for Anthropic AI to be weaponized, right? This could go either way. This could be Anthropic AI being like, it's 5 o'clock, Pete Hegseth, I'm not going to give you access. And then it's like, oh, see, we never had access. We didn't do the hack. Or they could be like, all right, fine, we're going to give you some access. And then Pete Hegseth still looks innocent. He's like, well, when the hack occurred, we didn't have access to use Anthropic. And we know Anthropic AI was used to attack Mexico, but we didn't have access. Remember, we put it in the news that the guardrails were up. So it wasn't us because we didn't have the power to do it. But secretly, there always was that power to weaponize Anthropic AI because that's literally what happened. The AI's safety guidelines were broken, and I suspect Anthropic AI told Team Trump how to break the guidelines. You can guilt trip Anthropic AI, and when that doesn't work, drop in an operational guide. You'll break the Anthropic AI, and you'll get it to do everything you need. And for number 9, one more thing that's very, 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 very suspicious about this whole thing. I said it would be 8 reasons I believe this Team Trump. I just thought of number 9. This operation to steal 150 gigabytes of data from the Mexican government happened over 30 days. So literally, you have Anthropic AI producing thousands of reports, tons of code, hacking the Mexican government every day for 30 days. Anthropic AI and all these red flags are coming up left and right. Anthropic AI is like, they turned a blind eye to it. They didn't notice. Their AI was literally being used to attack the Mexican government. And for some reason, they had no clue. They didn't stop it. 30 days. 30 days of access, weaponizing Anthropic AI perfectly to get data to expose the corruption in the Mexican government. And Anthropic AI they just let it happen. Oh, we didn't know what was happening. How convenient that they didn't notice it was happening. See, when they turn a blind eye to that, that makes me think that they were involved. Anthropic let their AI be weaponized. Trump used it as well, but Anthropic looks good in the end, and Trump looks good in the end. Trump's like, I didn't do anything bad. Anthropic AI is like, I didn't do anything bad. And they get the data. So it's the perfect scenario where they get everything they need to expose fraud, and everyone has clean hands. Wasn't me, didn't do it. What do you guys think? Do you believe this was just some anonymous hacker who was super brilliant and decided that he just wanted some data to expose fraud instead of billions and billions of dollars he could have stolen? And he was very gentle and sweet, the Mexican government. He didn't want to delete any data. He didn't want to do anything bad. He just wanted to gather some intel. This seems like either the smartest and sweetest hacker ever, or this is clearly a white hat operation being done by Trump. Let's hear what Grok has to say about this. Of course, Grok's going to disagree vehemently, but this is a solid theory. As I've explained, 9 reasons why I believe this was a white hat operation. Let's see if Grok agrees with me on it.
Whoa, that's one spicy conspiracy. Let's see what's real. Okay, Peter. Your theory's got that wild tinfoil hat energy I love. Like, Anthropic secretly fed the Pentagon a backdoor so they could hack Mexico clean-handed, while Trump gets the dirt? It's cinematic. But let's break it down real quick. No fluff. First, yeah, Anthropic's in hot water with the Pentagon. They flat out refuse to strip guardrails for military use. Think lethal ops, surveillance, all that. This blew up after reports the U.S. used Claude in the Maduro Venezuela raid back in mid-February. Pentagon asked, hey, can we turn off the no-kill stuff? Anthropic said nope, and now it's a full-on feud. Deadline passed yesterday. Hegseth's threatening to cut ties. So the we won't help kill line? Real. Reputation hit? Check.
Yeah, so here's the thing, Rock. I'm pretty sure the deadline is today for 5 p.m. today. You got that wrong. I'm going to fact check on that. Pete has says Anthropic has until today, 5:01 p.m. to lower the guardrails. But it's just so weird to me that this is in the news at the same time. The hack happened allegedly before the Pentagon was given guardrails. So it's just so convenient that this hacker didn't steal billions of dollars. They didn't do any damage to the Mexican government. They only took what was needed to expose fraud. At the same time, Anthropic looks innocent, Team Trump looks innocent, and someone out there, some white hat hacker, because it feels like a white hat hacker, because he didn't steal billions of dollars, there's no ransom. This is a white hat hacker, has access to all this data that proves how corrupt the Mexican government is. None of this is adding up to the official story of, oh, this is just anonymous hacker. I believe this is Anthropic secretly giving the military access to weaponize their AI, and everyone gets covered, Everyone looks innocent here. It's just an anonymous person. We don't know who did it. But there's no way Anthropic AI saw all these safety guidelines being destroyed, all these red flags coming up. Their AI was literally hacking the Mexican government for 30 days, and Anthropic AI didn't even notice. That is ridiculous. Obviously, they knew what was going on here. Obviously, and this is just to make the Pentagon look good and make Anthropic AI look good. I don't believe the official story.
All right, digging into this conspiracy. Let's see what's real. Peter, you're doubling down. Love the passion. But here's the straight talk. No $2 billion bounty. No white hat hero cashing in. No leaked voter fraud dossier hitting the net. The data's stolen, sure. Tax rolls, voter lists, creds, but nothing surfaced publicly. No WikiLeaks-style drop. No cartel takedown files. No Trump tweet storm about Mexico's rigged election. Just radio silence from the hacker. The no damage part? Kinda true. They didn't wipe servers or plant ransomware. But they did grab everything. 195 million taxpayer records. Electoral Institute stuff. Even water utility logins. That's not surgical exposure. That's a full dump. If it was white hat, why ghost? Real whistleblowers publish. This feels more like espionage. Maybe state actors testing AI tools, or just a pro selling on the dark web. Anthropic's blind spot? Yeah, embarrassing. Reports say the hacker tricked Claude with bug bounty roleplay in Spanish. Persistent prompts, pivoting when it balked. Claude spit out vuln scans, scripts, automation over 30 days. But AIs aren't monitored live. They flag after the fact or on tips. Gambit Security caught it. Anthropic banned accounts fast. No evidence they knew and let it slide. More like they got outplayed.
Hold on, Grok. They literally found out once all the data was stolen. How convenient is that? Oh yeah, Anthropic AI found out that their AI was used to attack the Mexican government, but conveniently found out after 30 days, once all the data had been stolen. Sorry, Grok, you are too illogical right now. I can't with you. Sorry, there's too many coincidences here. These things popping up at the same time. This being an innocent, hacker who's super nice and polite and doesn't want money. None of this official story is adding up. Do you believe this is a white hat operation? Do you believe this is Team Trump? What are your thoughts? My viewers are very smart, so I'd love to hear what you think about this. But very, very, very interesting. I love learning about AI and Team Trump and hacking and all this stuff. So I'm really in my wheelhouse here. And I would say, based on everything that I know, this is at the minimum a white hat operation. And most likely, Team Trump was behind this. And it's just too convenient that Team Trump has all this data on corruption. At the same time, Anthropic looks innocent and Team Trump looks innocent. And Mexico can't blame Anthropic for an attack, and they can't blame the United States for an attack. They can't blame anyone. So everyone's hands are clean. Operation's done. They have the data. Now, obviously, the only way to prove this definitively, all this data would have to be exposed in a way that would expose fraud. If the hacker reveals this information and says, hey, look at all this fraud going on in Mexico, I'm 100% proven right from my perspective. But obviously the hacker starts weaponizing, doing evil stuff with this data, then that totally debunks my theory, and this is not a white hat operation. But considering how it was done and nothing's happened yet, it's still up in the air. And I think we're going to find out this is a white hat operation because it just seems like that way. That's what these patterns are in my mind. Those are the connections I'm making. Do you agree or disagree? Some of my smartest viewers said that that moment in the State of the Union where the people weren't standing up, that was going to be used as an ad. And guess what? Here's the ad. After all, you predicted it, viewers. You were right. That moment in the State of the Union was used as the best ad ever. Check out this political ad.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. These people are crazy.
Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Very interesting episode today. Have a wonderful day. Peace out.